Hi, welcome to our channel, where we will provide a summary and more related content of the linguistics research seminars hosted by Universidad de Salamanca and Universidad de Valladolid. On November 15th, we had the pleasure of Professor Giovanelli from Aston University joining us for his presentation, Cognitive Linguistics in Stylistics. Did you miss it? Don't worry! Here you shall find the answers to the 5 main questions discussed in the session. Although he relies on the analytical tools of cognitive grammar, Giovanelli's line of research is firmly located within the bounds of stylistics. But what do we exactly mean when we talked about stylistics? In Giovanelli's words, stylistics is linguistics with an interest in literary text. In other words, the linguistic analysis of works of literature. This study of the discursive component of literature aims at examining two general aspects, which are: first, the inner functioning of literary text, their linguistic units and structures, and the effects they attempt to achieve. Second, the response of readers to literary text, the impact the linguistic components of a text have on the reader, since the grammar of a text predisposes the reader to react in certain manners. Stylistics often demands an interdisciplinary approach, which combines different linguistic methodologies and the theoretical proposals of various literary approaches. For instance, as we have already mentioned, Giovanelli relies on the principles of cognitive grammar to deepen into his stylistic analysis. This begs the following question: what is cognitive grammar? Cognitive grammar is a theory of language based on the inherent association between language and cognition. Among its main exponents stands Langacker, whose work, particularly Cognitive Grammar, A Basic Introduction, Giovanelli highly recommends. Cognitive grammar argues that, due to the link between language and cognition, grammar becomes an extension of the human mind. Consequently, grammar is meaningful. In other words, it contains meaning. By grammar, we mean the entirety of the language. Yes, even functional words such as prepositions or determiners. Another effect of the relationship between language and cognition is that language is embodied. In other words, the inner and outer experiences of the speaker in the world shape and condition their language. Thus, to varying degrees, imagination is almost always involved in language production. However, since people do not live in isolation, cognitive grammar also accounts for the social dimension of language. The community to which the speaker belongs plays a key role in their experience of their reality, affecting their perception and conceptualization of it. In cognitive grammar, the various conceptualizations or representations of a scene, whether real or fictional, are known as construals. As mentioned before, a construal is a representation of a parcel of reality. Construals are context-dependent and vary in degree of specificity. The same parcel of reality may evoke different construals. Different construals emphasize different aspects or dimensions of the same situation. This effect is known as profiling, the act of bringing to the foreground one element of the composition in contrast to the background. For instance, an apple may be described in various ways, such as a snack, an ingredient for a recipe, or a poisoned gift. As you may notice, each clause emphasizes a different aspects of the image. However, there is always a natural construal, the most adequate construal based on the ongoing context. Returning to the previous example, if we were discussing the elaboration of an apple pie, the most adequate construal would be an ingredient for a recipe. Different construals encode different meanings, since meaning depends on how reality is represented. This variation in meaning is usually determined by three factors, according to Giovanelli and Harrison, which are: first, specificity, the degree of precision and detail. For instance, it is not the same to talk about a school of fish than to describe a specific fish in detail, focusing on its scales. Second, subjectivity, where we place our attention. Returning to the previous example, if we focus on the head, the tail, or the scales of a fish, we will obtain very different pictures of the animal, won't we? Lastly, perspective. In the image, the scuba diver and the fisher have very different views of the same school of fish swimming around. Now, the grammar of a clause can also achieve these different portrayals of the same reality. In cognitive grammar, the linguistic manifestation of construals and thus of meaning is the clause. So, what is a clause? Clauses are grammatical structures prototypically containing an agent, a verb, and a patient. For example, in the sentence I eat an apple, I would be the agent, eat the verb, and an apple the patient. Clauses entail an energy transfer from one participant, the trajector or subject, in the previous example, I, to another, the landmark or object in our. So, how does all this come together? Now we'll provide an extract from the stylistic analysis Giovanelli conducted of feudal by the First World War poet Wilfred Owen for the handbook Applied Cognitive Eco-Stylistics from Ego to Eco. Within the field of take the first stanza of feudal. From the perspective of cognitive grammar, it seems remarkable the absence of any human agent, which guides the attention of the reader to the main component of the first lines, the dead soldier and the landscape in which he is found. Furthermore, this shift in the degree of specificity from the individuality of France to the extremely generic anything also moves the focus away from the concrete scene unfolding in the lines of the poem to more general reflections about war and death. As this fragment from the analysis by Giovanelli demonstrates, both stylistics and cognitive grammar profit from their symbiotic combination, allowing a deeper examination of the literary text under study. Well, that would be all for today. We hope you have enjoyed the video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you wish to stay up to date with the latest linguistic content from the Linguistics Research Seminars. Thanks for watching, and until the next time.